your squad should be about Klay?
2-3. I just think we need to reset our expectations of what we expect from Klay. He's not the Klay Thompson from 2016. He's not Klay from 2017, 2018. Injuries have robbed him of some of his abilities, Skip. He tore his ACL. Coming back from that, he tore his Achilles. He missed 2 years of basketball. It's going to take him some time. I'm not so sure he'll ever be the Klay that he once was. But if you go back and look at it, Skip, he averaged 15 points in the first 4 games against Dallas. He had 32 in Game 5. He averaged 16 in the first 5 games against Memphis. He had 30 in Game 6. I just think we need to, what we expect of him and what he's capable of giving. We know he can give us those moments. But the difference is, Skip, is that when he was an all-star and when he was Klay pre-injury, he could average 20, 22 and still explode and give you 40, give you 60 in 29 minutes. He's not that. And so I don't think the Warriors are worried at all. They just need him because he's still Klay Thompson. Although, Skip, he might not can give you what he once could, they see Klay Thompson. They see a guy that can still knock down the three if you're not careful. He can make those 8 threes like he made against Memphis. Make those 8 threes like he made against the Mavericks. But the Warriors are not concerned because they know he's not that and they're not expecting him to be that. Just be on the floor, space. But I will say this about the Celtics. When Klay Thompson goes, what would he go, 4 of 19? Steph goes 9 of 21 and Wiggins goes 3 of 12, 4 of 12. Got to win those games. Because what happens when Steph is 50% and he makes 7, 8 threes? What happens when Klay, he's more than capable of making 8, 9, 10 threes in a ball game? What happens then? So when guys are playing bad for the opposing team, those are the games that the Celtics need to win. But if I'm the Warriors, I'm not worried about it because he's averaging what he normally averages. Hell, he's shooting 30%. He didn't shoot much better in the first couple of rounds. So I'm not concerned at all. The Warriors shouldn't be concerned because he's giving them exactly what he's given them in the previous game.
Okay, I will flip Jen's question on its head, and I will ask, scale of 1 to 10, how concerned should the Celtics be about Klay Thompson? And I'm going to a 9 because he will get them before it's over. He will get you because earlier in the show, you referred to him as shell of self.
Yeah, he's not the same Klay.
He's a shell of himself.
Yeah.
Yet the shell made 8 threes in a closeout Game 6 against Memphis. Skip, he made 8 threes?
Skip, but in the first 5 games, Skip, he was averaging 16 points.
And then a closeout Game 5 against Dallas, he made 8 more threes.
In the first 4 games, he was averaging 4 points. He was averaging 15 points a game. Skip, he's not the same. He's not averaging 20. You remember when he was an all-star. He was going to the all-star game. He was averaging 20, 22 points a game. And he could give you 60 on 20 in 29 minutes. He can make 13, 14 threes in a ball game, Skip. That's not what he is currently. Now, maybe at time, he can get back to that. But he's not close to that now. Everybody that watches him knows that. I'm not taking a shot at the dude. I'm just speaking factually.
Well, if you can make 8 threes in 2 huge playoff games, are you a shell of yourself?
Skip.
I think not.
But here's the thing, Skip. Can he give you that? See, you talking about in 2 games. How many games have he played in the playoffs? They played 3 rounds, and now they're in the finals. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, who did they play the first game? They played Nuggets. Okay, that was 5 games. They played 6 games against Memphis. That makes it 11 games. They played another, that's 16. So now we're 18 games. You gave me 2 games. What the hell are you doing the other 16?
He is still closeout Klay with a K and a K. Closeout Klay. And he's still clutch Klay with a K and a K.
But let me ask you a question. You're in games 2, 3, and 4. You can't close out unless you up 3-1 going into game 5. Or you're up 3-2 going into game 6. Or you're up 3, whatever the case, or you're 3-3. Now you're game 7. So what are we talking about here?
We're talking about a prediction that I made before this all started, in which I said, I need Steph to get me 1 through 5. And then, if necessary, I need Klay in 6 and or 7.
Well, you validate.
That's what I got.
Well, Skip, you're validating what I said. I'm saying they shouldn't be worried about him because this is what they.
I'm not going shell of self.
Skip.
Shell of self wouldn't be there in 6 or 7.
Skip.
With the money pushed to the middle of the table. Would you be there if you're a shell of yourself?
Yes, Skip, because even as a shell of yourself, you can have a moment. You can have a game.
But Skip, a game is not a moment.
Oh, my God, Skip. So I want you to put your feet to the fire. Is he the same Klay Thompson he was pre-injury? Yes or no? Don't waffle. Yes or no?
He can still shoot.
No, Skip. I didn't ask you. No, Skip. I'm not asking. Yeah, he can shoot.
I just answered.
Skip.
He can still shoot it just the way he shoots it.
Nothing happened to his arm. You shoot with your legs. Again, is he the same Klay Thompson prior to the injury that he is now? Yes or no, Skip?
He can still get you 30 and 8 threes. That's all I care about.
It's the mere fact that you won't answer the question. It tells me everything I need to know.
I don't need to answer the question because
that's what we do.
The question is...
When Jen asks a question, we answer it. We don't get to waffle and flip the question. Every time what you do, you flip it around. I return the question to you. Is Klay Thompson a shell of himself after 8 threes and 8 threes in 2 big closeout games and 30-30? Shell of? Skip. Klay Thompson is not the same guy that he was prior to the injury, Skip. You know that. This is not a shot at Klay Thompson. Everybody that's watched him see the way he moves. He's not as confident. He can't do the same things. That's okay. Being off for 2 years, you should expect that from an athlete that plays at a high level with the seriousness of the injury. You're like, he can still shoot it. There's nothing wrong with his arms. It's his legs. He's not the same.
Okay.
And that's okay.
We're talking about moving to get open to shoot it or to drive the basketball?
Is he still the same player? Is he still an all-star level player?
No.
Yes or no?
He is not.
Thank you. That's all you had to say.
Is he still clutch Klay, closeout Klay? You better believe he is.
Skip.
And on occasion, when called upon, when absolutely necessary, he can be an all-star. He can have an all-star performance in a game.
He can have an all-star performance in a game, but he's not an all-star. When I said that he's a shell of himself, he can have moments. He can have a game, which you just reconfirmed. You just praised it a different way. All I'm saying is, Skip, yes, he's Klay Thompson. Yes, he can have moments. Yes, he can get 8 threes. But to consistently give you what he once could, that's not where he is currently.
So does that disqualify him as shell of self? I just want to be on the record. You call it
you're on the record for whatever you want to be. Dress it up however you want to.
Shell of self.
Dress it up however you want to.
Okay.
All I'm saying is this. Klay Thompson is not the same Klay. You know that. You said that. You dance around where he can have a moment. I close out a game, a game. All that's fine and good. But at the end of the day, everybody that watches him knows he's not the same player.
Okay. Once upon a time, back in 2018, in a game against the Bulls, Klay Thompson made 14 threes in a game. That stands as the record. Is he still capable? Is he still?
That's pre-injury.
I got it. I mean, obviously, I get that.
No, that's not what you said. No, ain't no obviously.
I am saying, is he still capable of making 14 threes in a game? You better believe.
How do you know that?
Well, how do I know? I saw him make 8 in the 2 closeout games.
That ain't 14.
Okay, but could he just keep on keeping on? He's not even featured. They feature Steph Curry. He's going to get more shots every game.
They've always featured Steph.
Klay goes along for the ride. But if you feature him, if you start to call plays for him to come off picks like they called one the other night, last night to get him going.
Think about this, Skip.
Right?
In 2018, can you tell me who else was there in 2018? There's another guy that was on the court that was 7 foot tall.
You don't like him. You disqualify him. You discount his value.
I don't like the man.
Well, you discount his value.
How do I discount his value?
You said he needed them more than they needed him. That's what you said.
I said they needed each other equally. It's like they called KD. KD picked up the phone on the first ring. That's what I said. Skip, stop trying to change this.
Okay, well, I've said from the start, and I stand by it right here, right now, that Klay Thompson can still get hotter than Steph Curry in any given stretch. Still get hotter. Okay. So I got that on my side, and my prediction was later in the series, he will have those games. He might have a couple of those games, and it will be all I need to get past your Celtics.
The question was, on a scale of 1 to 10, how worried should the Warriors be about Klay? I said 2 to 3. You said that he can get hot in a given game. Okay, so they shouldn't be worried about him, which was what I said in the beginning.
Okay, I'm a 0 on the first question. I'm a 9 for your Celtics should be scared to death of him. Because just when you start calling him shell of self, you better be careful.
All the stats that you gave me was pre-injury.
Okay, well, no, that's his body of work.
Yes.
Once upon a time, he made 9 threes in 1 quarter and scored 37 points. I've never seen anything like it before. He is capable of getting hotter than Steph gets hot.
Skip, the mere fact that Kobe gave you 60 in the final game. Was Kobe the same Kobe that he was before he started having those injuries? He can have a moment. Great players can have moments. That's what makes them great. The difference is that the great players, when they're prime, they can call those moments with greater regularity.
All I want to know, I want it on the record, as Klay is listening to this show, watching this show, that the Hall of Famer across from me said Klay Thompson is now a shell of himself, said Shannon Sharp. Thank you very much.
Nobody thinks Klay Thompson is what he once was. Only you do. And you deep down don't think he is.
No, I know he can get you 8 threes, 10 threes, 12 threes. He can get them, and he will have those games in this series.
Any great player, Skip, is Russ the same player? Russ can still get you triple-doubles. LeBron can still, you tell me LeBron is not the same. He just averaged 30.
You tell me he is the same.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay.
Big man here.
Klay, you're washed, says Shannon.
Ain't nobody said, there you go.
Washed.
There you go.
Shell of self.
You take...
SOS. Klay, SOS.
Well,
They
guys,
need
you
an
know what?
SOS.
Steve Kerr did play in the last 8 of 12 minutes last